J.F. Abraham.
Hi, I'm Jay Wilgus, Esquire,
I'm Wrigglesworth.
and we are Public Service Broadcasting. You're watching It's Jumble.
This is Apollo Control at 102 hours into the flight of...
Hola amigos de Jumble, yo soy Daniel y en los próximos minutos vamos a estar platicando con los chicos de Public Service Broadcasting.
Good luck to all of you.
So to start us off, your new album called Every Valley just came out a couple months ago. It paints a beautiful yet melancholic landscape of the southern Wales communities. What drove you to make this album about these people in the coal mining communities?
I think it was off the back of the Race for Space, really. I think you can only understand it totally considering where we were before and thinking about possibly the biggest subject you could think about in terms of scale, and then thinking where do you go from there, and wanted to do something smaller and something with more of a kind of human everyday element to it, which led to thinking about industry. And British Film Institute had a lot of coal archive material from the National Coal Board that I knew we could use, and that just started the sort of the train of thought, really, which ended up leading to being about community as much as commodity, and hence the South Wales element, because the community there was so strong. And then we ended up recording it there for over a month and launching the album there with 2 shows as well. So yeah.
I hear you didn't record it in the studio precisely. How was the recording and the producing process like?
It was just kind of a room, you know. It was a big hall, so there's lots of room to kind of play with. But Wrigglesworth built us a drum canopy. Perhaps you could elucidate on that.
Yeah, it wasn't a drum canopy, it was a drum layer, but thank you. We needed to deaden the sound a bit of the drum kit, because obviously it's a big room. So I fashioned a sort of mini drum cave using wood and blankets. And it actually worked quite well, didn't it?
Yeah.
You gotta use what you have, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then JFabs was in charge of sort of vibes, so he bought a lot of I'll let him tell you.
Rugs and fairy lights was my thing.
Okay, fairy lights.
You can see I'm highly trusted. So yeah, but it was I bought the vibes.
Okay, that's a very interesting part of the record. It also has a little vague yet remaining political kind of views into this album. It feels like it's very in with what's going on right now in the world. It's with all this crazy stuff happening, in the US with Trump or Brexit or whatever. Do you feel like as an artist you have some sort of responsibility to take on these issues?
Well, I think you the one thing you should have a responsibility to do, I think, is not to be afraid. If you want to make an album that's political, I don't think you should kind of worry about how it's going to affect you in terms of, we might not sell as many albums, or we might, for example, coming to Mexico, like, we shouldn't do an album about South Wales, because what on earth is people in Mexico going to make of that? We should do another one about space or cars or something. You could be much more cynical about it, but it was this kind of story that we wanted to tell, and I think it was a bit of a risk, and it was quite brave in some ways. And it's strange you sort of mention it being pertinent, because when we started, sort of 2.5 years ago, it didn't feel that, it felt like an interesting subject, but it didn't feel quite so relevant. And then as we were making it, the more research we were doing, the more these things started happening, and just started to feel like, actually, this is, a lot of the things that we're talking about here are things that the echoes we're seeing now are a direct result of things like this happening across the world, I think.